Monty, once again from DPO Surveillance Equipment. Good morning to all of you. I'm doing some chores, trying to wake up and trying to get the blood flowing in the mornings. I'm pretty sure you can relate to the idea that it takes a little bit more effort to get the cobwebs out and out of our brains and get the oxygen flowing so we can think clearly and articulate and all that, even in the early morning. But this is what I like to do. I like to do some any type of chores, wiping down my car, just cleaning up around the house, whatever, while I get the blood flowing. And then that way, when I start actually getting to the business related stuff, hopefully I'm awake by then, and I have a clean car and a clean house, and everything is organized. So what's going on today? Man, today's the day I usually go for a 5-mile walk, but I spent a lot of time updating the website. Kind of excited about the new products that we're including on the website. Go there when you get a chance. Look under cloud-based hidden cameras. When you see cloud-based, like clouds in the sky, you're going to see two different groups. One of those groups is nanny cameras that are powered by batteries, that are battery powered, and then the other group is, the major difference is one group is powered by batteries, and then the other group of cameras or assortment of cameras are the type of cameras that you plug into the wall and power them that way. So these are two state-of-the-art categories or types of products that we've added to the website. They're basically going to allow you guys to upload the recorded video to a cloud-based service rather than your own personal and business computers. That way there's zero chance of someone discovering your video on your own computer as compared to having a service that requires the people looking for evidence to log in to this cloud-based service, which you can't get access to without a password and username. So this is a lot more secure, a lot more reliable, and basically it's going to offer you guys a type of scalability that you won't get typically with your own computer or computers. So basically that's what I did last night, early this morning, up until around 3 o'clock in the morning or so. I was putting these items on the website, again, under a category called cloud-based hidden cameras. Some are AC powered and some are battery powered. Anyway, moving right along, you may ask, who is this guy rambling on and on and on about cloud-based services and nanny cameras and all that? My name is Monty Henry, owner of DPO Surveillance Equipment. I run a full-service surveillance and security equipment company. We have lifetime guarantees and warranties on all of the products. We even have 24/7, 365 tech sales and customer support on all of the products. We have a huge and expanding video library and articles, tons and tons of articles, tons and tons of podcasts like this one, tons and tons of blog posts, etc. Basically, we have probably the largest multimedia center that you're going to see out of any surveillance and security equipment company, and that applies to a lot of other retail companies as well. We just are adamant about expanding the content on our website for consumption by you guys, and it's all free, so you can consume as much information as you want. You can become very knowledgeable about health and fitness, about cybersecurity, about cryptocurrencies, about economics and finance. The list goes on and on and on. Okay? In addition to that, my website, and I'm really excited about this, my website developer informed me around 2 o'clock in the morning or so, that he completed the installation of the plug-in for our shopping cart. Our shopping cart should now be capable of accepting cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin. I have to test it out and verify it myself, but he seems to be very, very professional, and he's telling me that the website is set up so you guys can purchase your favorite spy products using Bitcoin. And again, I'm going to test it out later on today and verify how it works and exactly what it does, what it can do, whatever, all that. And then next time I do a podcast, I'll let you know that we're definitely ready to take some transactions in Bitcoin on the website. So I'm very excited about that. My newsletter is going out as we speak, and just a lot of exciting things going on with the business. And wish I could say that for the overall economy, but I'm reading some things that are not very positive, and we'll get to that in a second. Other than that, I always have to mention I do not like MasterCard and Visa and Discover and the credit card issuers, the banking system. I really cannot say enough to you guys about how I resent the idea that we have to deal with this legacy banking financial system that rips people off and uses predatory lending practices and usury as far as high interest rates that people are charged on credit cards, all of the restrictive basically there's tons and tons of what you call financial oppression going on with the banking system. That includes the banks, the merchant processors, and the credit card issuers. The whole infrastructure is pretty much a big scam, and I'm going to get to the details of that. And as a lot of you know who heard me podcast before, I present tons and tons of information to let you guys know, to give you a heads up on what you're up against with facts and figures and dates and people's names and all of that information. So you won't have any excuse but to be armed and ready so that you're not taken advantage of. That's why we're big fans of Bitcoin, for instance, and the blockchain, which provides a type of transparency and redundancy and a decentralized nature, so that there is no central point of failure, central point of disruption, central point of weakness. It's just a solution that I think is going to spread like crazy once Wall Street and Main Street finally realizes what the blockchain, in addition to Bitcoin, have to offer us as compared to what we're dealing with now. This old, dilapidated, antiquated, centralized system where you got to get permission, you got to bow down and have someone tell you what you can do, what you can't do, how much money you can send or not send, what countries you can send money to, what type of people you can send money to or receive money from, what time of day or night you can receive money or send money. It's just too many restrictions. And as business owners, as I always like to tell you business owners, I remind you, what you already know anyway, that $70 billion minimum is transferred from our pockets into the pockets of MasterCard and Visa, American Express and Discover. Those guys are bleeding us dry, and we're not getting the type of valuable service that we really should be getting, considering we're paying someone to process transactions which are electronic in nature, and there's no way in the hell should we be paying higher and higher discount fees based upon us being successful. And that simply means that you know as well as I do that the more money, the more transactions you process electronically, the more we have to pay out. And these guys are saying that Their computers are working harder and harder to process the transactions that we send to them. So therefore, that's why we have to pay more money to them to process these transactions, even though it's all bits and bytes, which doesn't make any sense. Last time I checked, computers don't care whether it's a little information or a lot of information. They just process it, and there should be very, very little cost, as we are starting to see finally with Bitcoin, for instance, where you send millions and millions of dollars for like 0.000 something in fees. The amounts are like completely negligible when you have a smart, hard currency that's not designed to rip us off, as we're finding out with the fiat-based system. And let's take a look. Finally, let's take a look at today's article and try and figure out why I'm not so optimistic about the current state of the economy, given some of the more recent findings that I discovered. Okay? Now, this particular podcast, let's see, the title of this one is going to be Lenders Shunned Risky Personal Loans. Now they're competing for them. Lenders shunned risky personal loans. Now they're competing for them. Okay, lenders are stepping up offers of consumer loans with few strings attached, often to individuals with poor credit histories they all but ignored in the years after the financial crisis. The offers promise a way to help pay down other debts or fund home renovations or vacations, fueling concerns that customers could overextend themselves. Take control of your finances, says one mailing. Your dream can come true, says another. American Express, Goldman Sachs, Lending Club, and Social Finance Incorporated are among those behind an onslaught of unsolicited mailings offering unsecured loans known as personal loans as large as $100,000. Wow. In the first half of this year, lenders mailed a record 1.26 billion solicitations for these loans, according to market research firm Competiscan. The second quarter marked the first period that lenders mailed out more offers for personal loans than credit cards, a much larger market, according to research firm Mintel Compare Media. So these financial institutions, these credit card companies, they're serious about taking advantage of you guys when they send out more mailings for the personal loans than they did for credit cards, okay? And they just barely getting started. So while the market for personal loans is relatively small, it is growing quickly. Lenders extended $81.9 billion in personal loans to U.S. consumers in the first half of the year, up about 13% from a year prior, according to credit reporting firm Experian PLC. That compares with a 9% rise in auto loans and leases and a 5% boost in spending limits issued on new general-purpose credit cards over the same period. The surge in unsecured personal loans is the latest sign that banks and financial technology companies alike are plunging with new vigor into risky areas of consumer finance, reflecting both the solid growth of the U.S. economy and the perception that growth opportunities remain scarce for lenders nearer the top of the U.S. personal income distribution. Personal loans are often the last stop for consumers in need of affordable financing, and some researchers fear a surge in personal loans will enable consumers to take on more debt than they can pay back. Though the U.S. is booming by many measures, including low unemployment, some households are sliding deeper into debt. That said, the boom in personal loans poses less of a risk for the overall economy because the market is smaller relative to mortgages and other kinds of debt. Well, I just want to tell you guys, look, we shouldn't be so much concerned about the effects on the overall economy right now, because you want to focus, in this case, this particular case, you want to focus on what it means to your personal finances to have access to more debt than what you can really manage. See, not all debt is good debt, and believe it or not, it's better to have no debt than a lot of debt. It's very intriguing or very compelling or whatever to think, just because I give you $100,000, that you're going to somehow make that money work for you, and at the same time stand a good chance of paying me back. Okay, considering that the dollar has very little value, 90% of its value is wiped out. Any free money that these companies are giving you, because they borrow at very little cost when they go to the financial markets and such, because of quantitative easing, which basically means that the federal government printed a lot of excess money, and a lot of that free money is sloshing around in the pockets of corporate America, namely the banking and credit card issuers, so they can afford to give you guys free money, and you're not going to pay them back with free money. You're going to pay them back with your hard-earned labor. Let's move right along. See what else is going on here. Personal loans are considered relatively risky because lenders have little recourse. If borrowers stop paying, there generally isn't a house or a car to repossess. And unlike with credit cards, there isn't a credit line to cut, as the loans are typically extended in a lump sum. Personal loans are often the last loans taken and the first ones not to be paid, said Michael Abbott, digital lead at Accenture Financial Services. So again, personal loans are often the last loans taken and the first ones not to be paid, says Michael Abbott. Lenders pitch the loans as a way for consumers to pay for projects or activities that might have otherwise taken much to save for. Take a trip, says an offer from Barclays PLC. Add a new patio, deck, or pool, says one from Citizens Financial Group Incorporated. Now, see, these people really are taking advantage of the instant gratification society that we live in. If you're too stupid or incapable of realizing that if you want to take a vacation, it's in your best interest to use your hard-earned dollars to pay for that vacation, hopefully before you take it. That way, when you're on vacation, you can really relax knowing that you don't have any additional debt, more than likely because you saved up for the vacation before you went on vacation. That's what people did in the old days for the most part. You didn't go to a hard money lender or someone to borrow money to go on a vacation. That was unheard of. So this is very revealing in terms of the economic state we're in right now, where you take a personal loan just to afford a vacation. Sherry and Harry Young of Cromwell, Connecticut, took out a $60,000 personal loan late last year from Livestream, a division of SunTrust Banks Incorporated, for a home remodeling. They have 7 years to pay it back at 7% interest. The couple have racked up extra credit card debt since then because they also used cards to pay for some of the renovation, and Mr. Young was briefly out of work. Ms. Young said they prefer to use their credit cards rather than burn through their cash. And she is confident they will pay down their debt. See, this is another problem. Any idiot who thinks that it's a good strategy to save your cash and take on additional credit card debt needs to have their head examined, because there's definitely not a brain in there. When you have any extra income or money, the first thing you do, especially if you want to save money, is you pay down debt, especially debt with an interest component to it. In other words, if you have to pay back someone with interest, you better get that debt off of your books sooner rather than later. You don't save your money by paying interest on credit cards, particularly personal loans. Only a moron would think that it's okay to carry personal loans, which you can't even write off as a business expense, when you can sacrifice and pay off the personal loans and therefore start really saving money. When you save money with no debt, that money compounds and grows a lot quicker as compared to trying to manage credit card debt that you can't write off, even as a business expense. So that's a very stupid strategy. And my wife wouldn't be allowed to handle my finances if she thought that was a good strategy. It isn't unusual for consumers to end up with more debt after taking out a personal loan. On average, only about 30% of the proceeds from a personal loan from a financial technology or fintech lender goes to repaying debt, according to a recent study from professors at Harvard Business School and Georgia State University. So most people aren't even using the money that they borrowed. Most of that money is not even going towards paying off debt. It's the people are basically trying to pretend like they can live high on the hog by accumulating more debt versus paying down debt. So this is a major problem for particularly people in the United States, just are financially illiterate, according to what I'm reading and according to what I hear when I talk to people over the phone. Banks retreated from personal loans after the crisis as they experienced a significant increase in losses. Lending volume plummeted, giving way to fintech companies, mostly startups that make online loans or operate lending platforms that revived the market around 2013. Now, as the market gains momentum, borrowers who took out personal loans more recently are falling behind on payments at a faster rate. According to TransUnion, several lenders are reporting higher losses. So this is inevitable. Look, when you give free money to people in exchange for hard-earned labor who are already over-leveraged, these consumers are already over-leveraged, and you're giving them your newly printed, bogus toilet paper, fiat currency in the way of a personal loan. Yeah, this is going to happen. You're going to take on more losses, and your losses will definitely increase as more people take advantage of you, the person extending the personal loan. Okay? American Express, Barclays, and SLM Corporation, better known as Sallie Mae, have all made recent forays into personal loans. Citigroup Incorporated and BBVA Compass ramped up their mailed offers this year, according to Computerscan and Mintel Compromedia. Goldman launched personal loans in 2016 and was the fourth largest solicitor of these loans during this year's first half, according to Computerscan. Pay off your high interest credit card debt reached one from Goldman's online banking arm called Marcus. Notice how they have these very innocent sounding names of the divisions that are extending the personal loans. That way, when those divisions that belong to Goldman Sachs and Barclays or whoever, when they go belly up and need to be sold off into the public marketplace for 10 cents on the dollar, no one realizes that it was a division of Goldman Sachs or Bank of America or Barclays. Okay, that's probably what they want to do. Make sure there's no association to the parent company. That's how they name these these divisions that are actually racking up and going to rack up large losses in the area of personal loans. Online lender Lending Club said this month it would launch a mass market advertising campaign. Even though applications from prospective borrowers hit a record in the second quarter, the company is considering new features such as using the title to borrowers' cars as collateral in order to approve prospective applicants that it would have previously denied. Lots more stupidity. Getting a title to someone's jalopy that is already encumbered with debt is not going to make you look smart as a manager. And within these fintech companies or in this personal lending space, just because you have title to someone's piece of shit car, it doesn't mean you're going to be able to get any real value out of that asset when they go belly up. You guys know it, I know it, they know it, and this is just ridiculous. Let's move on. As competition between fintech lenders and banks intensifies, more subprime borrowers are receiving these loans. Last year, more than 1.5 million personal loans were given to people with credit scores below 601 on a scale that tops out at 850 according to TransUnion. That is the highest number in more than a decade. Currently, borrowers with credit scores considered prime or better account for just over half of personal loan balances according to TransUnion. So again, if you make a lot of loans to people with scores below 601, you are really asking for it, okay? If your credit score is that low, you shouldn't be borrowing anything. You should be paying down your debt and eating rice and beans for the next few years so that you can get your credit score hopefully back up. But the last thing you need is to borrow money to do stupid things like go on a vacation or renovate your home. Okay, again, personal loans are not tax deductible. Personal loans are in addition to all of your other debt. So you guys really need to understand what it means to bite the bullet and get your financial houses in order as consumers as compared to taking this bait. Some lenders say it is difficult to determine an applicant's likelihood of paying back the loans. Some borrowers sign up for several personal loans at once from different lenders and end up with more debt than they can afford to pay back. Lenders in some cases realize that it is what has occurred only after they issue the loan when they check an updated version of the borrower's credit reports. Now this is really revealing because borrowers are getting savvy, okay? They know if I go to 3 or 4 different companies and get personal loans, by the time you check my credit report, you're not going to see what I've done, not only with your company, but with all the others. In other words, it takes a while for that information to get updated. And by then, you have loaned me lots of money, and I'll be able to just leave the country if I'm a foreigner or something, and I'll make off with probably a minimum of $100,000 per application. Discover Financial Services recently increased credit eligibility requirements for personal loan applicants. The market is clearly frothy right now, says Chief Executive David Nams said in an interview. We had to tighten up to go after the people that haven't deteriorated as much. Dan Behar took out a $7,000 personal loan from American Express about 2 years ago to help pay for a move from Long Island to Brooklyn. He still owes a few $1,000s on the loan and has to make car payments. Make car and student loan payments. He gets roughly one offer a day in his mailbox from lenders encouraging him to borrow more. So far, he has declined. Well, just to sum it up, another trap. This is, these personal loans, the amount of people are borrowing. This is ridiculous, and I did a podcast a week ago that talks about household debt overall. That this is really not good. Listen to this: U.S. household debt has set yet another record high. In the first quarter of 2018, it reached $13.2 trillion with a T. That's a $63 billion increase from the previous quarter. Now household debt is $500 billion higher than its previous peak in 2008. This is according to the Federal Reserve of the Bank of New York, which uses data from Equifax. So when your own Federal Reserve is telling you guys that your household debt has increased by $63 billion in one quarter, and your government, the United States government, your honest and faithful, loyal government who cares so much about you, they've racked up $22 trillion of debt, and corporate America has trillions and trillions of dollars of debt. So it looks like everyone is racking up debt and not caring so much about paying it back or how it's going to be paid back or anything. We just have a debt-fueled economy, and everybody is forgetting that true financial independence means not owing anyone and being able to brag, like me and my wife in our household. We can brag about, if we want to, we can brag about having zero debt. That means no one's going to call you, no one's going to send you a letter, no one's going to bug you about paying them back. If anything, I call people and I want to know, where's my money? Why isn't my transaction or something accounted for or whatever? Anyway, the shoe is on the other foot when you have money, when you have assets, when you have zero debt. It's a big difference, trust me. Anyway, we're going to close out this podcast, as I like to say at the conclusion of every podcast. Keep your eyes and ears open. Get Bitcoin and stay safe. Take care, bye.